I'm not hearing any sound.
Okay, which am I supposed to be going to another room, or somebody's going to bring me to another room?
Yes, they'll move you. 1 second.
Okay.
Michelle, you may need to start over. There's no sound, Michelle.
I'm troubleshooting right now to figure out why there's no sound.
All right, good morning, everyone. We're just going to go ahead and get started. Don't worry about the video. We'll come back to that. Good morning. My name is Ann McNeill, and this is the podcast for how do you start and run a successful mastermind group. December 31st, 1979 at 9 p.m., I picked up a copy of the book, Think and Grow Rich, and began to read the book, and the book began to read me. The author gave me 4 questions, but he gave me 6 steps to riches. And from those 4 questions to today, we have built 5 businesses from 1 page of that book. And that is what brings us here today to share with any and all of you how to start and run a successful mastermind group if you have questions. And if you're interested in starting and running your own, I like to call successful mastermind group. And so we start off talking about this book, these principles, 13 principles espoused by Napoleon Hill in his phenomenal book entitled Think and Grow Rich. Now, as a part of this process that he has created, and these principles, which are like laws, that if you use them, you can have the same kind of success, if you will. Now, I also like to talk about where in the world is Ann McNeill. And as you can see, this is a little different view. I am actually in Greenville, South Carolina at a what we call SASHTO conference. I'm in the construction industry and I'm involved with over 50 different, yes, I did say 50 different civic and professional organizations and associations by industries. And so I don't like using any excuse about why I cannot keep this commitment and come on and share with all of you and be available to answer any questions that you might have about starting and running your own successful mastermind group. I like to start by inviting our guests to, first of all, because this is a Q&A. This is a Q&A, and we'll just talk about what is a mastermind group. And a mastermind group, in my opinion, is a small group of individuals who are willing to hold each other accountable in the achievement of their goals. And I'd like to suggest one of the ways to do that is you start with one person. Start with one person that you are like-minded and like-spirited with. Can I say that again? Like-minded and like-spirited, both, not one or the other, but both like-minded and like-spirited. And with that thought in mind, this is one of the reasons why we use the principles espoused by Napoleon Hill in his phenomenal book, Think and Grow Rich, because they are proven principles. And I'm going to go ahead and allow each of you to introduce yourself. If you have a question, we'll take it. And then if you're interested in actually starting and running your own successful mastermind group, if you would just put your virtual hand up or your real hand up, and then we will move you to the breakout where you can actually go ahead and start with the questions of how do you start and run your own free family and friends mastermind group. As a part of what we do here, we are a part of the International Mastermind Association. And that International Mastermind Association allows us as volunteers, and I have to say volunteers, yes, volunteers. We're volunteers here providing our experiences to those of you that's interested in sharing the experiences that we've had in starting and running our own group. So we do have a hand raised by Ronnie. Ronnie, good morning, Ronnie McNair, not you, but we have a hand raised by Byron. Byron, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself first? Share with our audience a little bit about who you are and what motivated you to join us here today, and then we'll go to you, Stephen.
Sure. Well, my name is Byron Thomas. I'm a real estate investor, while going back into real estate investing. I'm also a personal protection instructor. You know, that's a very big passion. That's a long story, goes back to 2021 and beyond. So I'm not going to get into it for right now. Um, I've been interested in this, and I have the books Think and Grow Rich. Just I'm kind of willy-nilly in learning the principles and putting them to work. So I want to get into this. I really want to get into this because I'm now at the mindset of growing at the age I'm at. So I
I would
hope
tell
that
you,
was clear.
absolutely, and you're in the right place. So bear with me. We're going to go to Stephen, and then we have another hand raised after Stephen. Go ahead, Stephen. Good morning. Welcome.
Morning. My name is Steve Kennedy. I have a nonprofit website. Well, it's not a nonprofit website. It's for nonprofits called All in One Nonprofit. It's a platform where nonprofits can form all the way through to becoming a big organization with employees and contractors and things. And I'm just looking to, there's a lot of issues for nonprofits. Most of them are pretty common, like trying to find donors, trying to find grants, trying to find volunteers. So I'm looking to start a mastermind and maybe get some people that are having issues that might be able to help out each other, things like that.
Awesome. Thank you so very much, Steve. And thank you also for participating with us in our Clarity Mastermind. All right. So each week we come, and as we share, we also invite those who have started their mastermind group as a part of this process in this program using our framework, and we ask them to come back and share any experiences. So for those, I think we have 3, maybe 4 that have already started. Oh, Patrina, please, your hand is raised. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. My name is Patrina Fulton. My background is as a credit risk analyst, so analyzing insurance companies and banks. I read Think and Grow Rich a few years back, and then I decided to co-host a Think and Grow Rich study group. So we would read a chapter each week, and then along with that, we also moved through the workbook. So at this particular point in time, I was introduced to this group by Carla Hill, and I was just wanted to gain some information. So not really sure if I want to lead a mastermind group right now, but more so interested in joining one. So then I can then move to possibly creating one. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for that point, because I am actually in a mastermind group myself. I don't lead it, and I totally agree with you. It is a labor of love. And one of the things that we encourage our group, especially when you grow past 2 or 3 members, consider rotating leadership. So I encourage our members, when they start with one, and then as you grow together, you add another, but you must both be in total 100% agreement to the third person. And then the 3 of you must be in total 100% agreement before you add the 4th, and so on. And once you begin to increase in numbers, consider rotating leadership. And in our group, and we started in the early 80s, 81, 82, with my first mastermind group, after realizing that there's work in anything that you're going to do that's going to really derive monetary benefit, if you will. And so what we began to do then is we began to each take a month. Each one of us would take a month. There were 10 of us in my first mastermind group, and each one of us would host for 1 month, which is 30 days. And then you were responsible for doing everything that needed to be done, identifying the location we were going to meet, whether it's going to be in your home or something else. If it was food being served, which we normally met at 7 a.m., which the person was normally responsible for breakfast. Whatever that meant, you were responsible for contacting everybody and checking to make sure they did their homework before they came. So it just depends. And that's why we created this process, if you will, because a lot of times people start groups, but then they don't have any best practices to use from that are proven. So thank you all for your questions, Stephen and everybody. We're going to go to, if you raise your hand, either Carla, Ronnie, Victoria, or Sherry, and if you want to give an update on your group, if you choose. And you can come off mute. And we want to also welcome the others that have joined us too. Thank you.
I can start.
Yes.
So I'm Carla Hill. I'm calling from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And my background, HR executive for 35 years. I have my own career planning practice now where I help that next generation identify their gifts and talents to move towards their calling with clarity in their careers. And since joining this group, it's like Ann says, it's work. I'm pretty big picture, and I sometimes have people around me that are more technical. And but when you're responsible for your life, what I like about this group is it's a mastermind for my life. Almost compare it to a annual shareholders meeting where they're looking at metrics, right? So it could be, yes, a focus with my business, my career, but how about your family, your civic, your recreation? So you're not completely out of balance. And one of the things that helped us, I have one other person, just like Ann said, because I know lots of people, but it could just, when it's just too many when it's too many people. But even starting with that one person was a journey for me, right? Because people say they're ready, but they may not be. And it's no judgment, because people, I believe that, people are ready when they're ready. Like, it's not really a judgment. So, but are they ready when I'm ready right now, right? So went through asked a couple of people, and my thing is, you're not doing it for me. I really want you to do it for yourself. So if you're not, so that was something that was very helpful. So I do have a partner now that is on the West Coast, and we've started meeting. We have the books, but the first thing that we did was going over the 10 areas of our life. And in writing is much different in terms of when there's 10 or 12 checkpoints, right? You think like not recently, in the past 4 years, I released like close to 100 pounds, no flour, no sugar. And I'm like, oh, I'm in the best health of my life. But is that optimum health? No. Right. So did you do your colonoscopy? Did you do this? Did you do? So it's asking real questions. You could think you're fit financially, but what are you comparing yourself to? So this gives a basis in which I'm big in terms of career assessments, right? Personality, interest, skills, and values. But how about assessment tracking for your life? So now we meet weekly, just this Layla and myself, to go over that, but it's work, right? For my group, I used to train with an engineer, and he would always come up with a definition of whatever we were training on. He would take it from the book and not just assume everybody knows what you mean, right? So now I've taken that practice and defining work. Like when Ann says, oh, it's work, and then I looked up in terms of my food program, somebody said, oh, this program is not for people who want it, for people who need it, it's for people who are willing to work for it. So that's for everything. So that's really the lens that I look for things now, just in terms of, what do you want? And Ann talks about that a lot. And what I like about that is that there's an infrastructure, there's a system in terms of helping you. Yeah, it's the book. A lot of people read the book, especially if you travel in entrepreneur circles or real estate circles or any type of self-improvement. The book has been around since 1930s. But are you applying the principles of the book? I see that there's not an absence of information and content. You can go to YouTube University and get all sorts of information, but it's an absence of execution and implementation. So having a place to practice helps me get closer to my goals. Do I like accountability? Not necessarily. No, I don't. But I know I need it to accomplish my goals. And just real quick, when I looked up work, at its core, work is the transfer of energy or effort to accomplish a purpose. That's really what it is, right? And then, but in terms of productivity and what we're looking for, self-improvement, what's the work that goes into that as well? So for me, it has to be with a partner. So, Ann, back to you. Thank you. You're on mute, I think.
Thank you. No, I
Oh,
got you.
oh.
Thank you so much, Carla. I was pulled into what you were sharing and nodding my head. I had to remember that I'm hosting this and I'm not just a participant. So we're going to go now to who would like to go next, either Ronnie or Sherry, Victoria, anybody else. And again, this is for those who are here and thinking about starting their own mastermind group for family and friends. Just want them to have an idea of what you're going through. And each of these individuals, as you listen to them, have just started their mastermind group within the last 30, 60, 90 days. Okay. So who would like to go next to give an update on the status of their group so far? All right. I just call your name, Sherry.
Okay.
Oh, Ronnie came off mute.
Hey,
Okay. Go ahead,
yeah,
Ronnie.
good morning, everyone. I'm recently new also, and I have one other member to my group. And I found that since I've been here, you've got to be a little creative with what you do to keep yourself on task. For instance, my one member just had surgery on an eye, and so she's kind of out of it right now. So I was thinking, how can I keep this going? So we're on chapter 11, the subconscious mind. And and she's of course in another state, but we're gonna get on the phone and I'm gonna read the chapter. She can come back and read it later, but as long as she can hear, as long as she can hear the words and whatnot, I feel like that we're still moving instead of saying, well, I'll just wait till till your eyesight is better and whatnot, and you can read it for yourself. So that's my challenge right now. But I thought like, wow, this could work. So it's been a real joy. You find out a lot about yourself too. You do some real soul searching, and you come up with some honest answers. And if you're really honest and truthful with yourself, you find out that this journey may be a little easier than you thought it was. All right, that's it for me.
All right, thank you. And we want to welcome those that have just joined, Miriam and Scott, and one more, missed the name. Okay. All right, so we're going to go to Sherry, Miriam, Roland, and Scott. Thank you for joining us. And for those of you that just joined, we're hearing from those individuals who have started their own family and friends mastermind group utilizing our process, and they're giving an update on where they are and their experience so far. Victoria or Sherry, or Victoria and Sherry? Oh, I thought I saw. Okay, no. My apologies, they're not here. I know we let them in. I'm not sure if they went to the volunteer call. Okay, so we're gonna share, Kat, if you can ask them to come back. We're gonna ask Miriam if you'd like to introduce yourself, Roland, if you'd like to introduce yourself, and Scott, if any one of you would like to introduce yourself and share with us what motivated you to join us today, and if you have a question about how to start and run your own successful mastermind group. Miriam, you're on mute.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and certainly thank you for having me. I am a friend of Carla Hill's, and she actually introduced me to the mastermind. And I guess a few months ago, I, joined one of the Saturday sessions, and I was just blown away. I immediately went out, bought the book, started reading, because I guess it just spoke to maybe something that I was searching for in terms of how do I navigate life to be successful in various areas of my life. And it has just been so meaningful, all of the sessions that I've attended, being able to attend, and then speaking with Carla. We would like to actually create a mastermind group in Philadelphia. And I'm certainly very interested in working with her and another person, Michelle, on starting a group and learning how to do that so that we can continue these conversations of successful life management, sharing with others.
I like the sound of that. Successful life management. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for joining. We're happy to have you here. And if you have any questions please do not hesitate. And Scott Williams? Any questions for you, Scott? You'd like to introduce yourself? If not, we're going to go to Sherry.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Sherry. If you'd like to give an update on who you are and your update from your thank you.
Well, good morning. I am Sherry Robinson, the Savvy Business Consultant, also founder and CEO of GHWW, Global Health, Wellness, and Wealth. I am coming to you live from Charlotte, North Carolina. I and Dr. Victoria Longcombe should be chiming in a second. She was on the other call. And we have created an amazing mastermind group called Legacy Builders Forum. And our meetings are held Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We pretty much follow the structure, and I don't know if you talked about the book yet, the workbooks and everything you created for us already. That we just plug and play, put our little twist and personality on it, stick with the script, but it really gives you that clarity that really hones into how you're going to get to those big, hairy, audacious goals and earn the income that you are entitled to have. Our meeting last night, we had talked about targeted prospects and contact lists, corporation organizations, because with Victoria and I, we have over 30 plus years in our careers. So we hone back into that, collaborated, brainstorm, and now we have our CRM systems and process. They're uploaded. Is giving more, and like I said, more clarity is where we spend our time. We talk about time blocking on our calendar because we do work full time, and to build this legacy and commit to ourselves, thanks to the Mastermind group and McNeill. And being very, very intentional with our outreach to create these big goals for ourselves. So we hold each other accountable to the utmost. We respect each other's decisions. We have crucial conversations, and that has helped me a lot. And it just feels it's all falling into place organically and flowing. So we had I call it my power hour last night, which was awesome. And I don't know if Victoria is there. She have anything to share? Thank you, Anne.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for the comments in the chat. Excuse me. So Michelle is going to, for those of you that's interested, I know we have Stephen that's interested, and I know we have Byron that's interested in starting their own group. Michelle is going to move them to a breakout. And for the rest of you, if you will stay here, and we are going to begin to wrap up our session regarding Q&A, but I do want to open the floor again. Anybody with any questions about how to start and run your own successful group, if you are interested in going to the breakout and actually going through our process, which is basically completing a form, and even if you don't have anyone yet, you will give us your information and we will start communicating with you as a part of what do you do next. And that what do you do next speaks to, Michelle is going to be here with us. Doretha can stay in the breakout, but that what do you do next speaks to, and we've heard it from Carla and we've heard it from Sherry and Victoria. I'm not sure if Victoria want to make any comments if she's here, but we have a process. And the process is, the Friday call. We do a Friday call every Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern time where we're reading the book together. And Miriam mentioned that. We have a Saturday call. This is a mastermind group. On Friday, we ask you to bring one business goal you want to be held accountable for and the reading of one aha. It could be a sentence. It could be a paragraph. It could be a page. It could be a chapter. Whatever works for you, you get a minute. That's on Friday. On Saturday, we host a
Live.
Mastermind Live. Thank you. Where we invite any of you And if any one of you would like to be a guest tomorrow, excuse me, I keep thinking today is Friday, be a guest this Saturday. We just were notified today that our guest for Saturday just had to step out. Last Saturday, our guest had another commitment and could not make it, and our co-hosts were out. So I did the very best I could in sharing my persistence experiences and how I utilize the principles, that particular principle, persistence. So we take one principle per month each Saturday for the whole month, one principle for the entire month. And then the next month we go to the next principle. We start with principle 1, which is desire, and we go until the 13th principle. Now, so if any of you are interested in being on Saturday, raise your hand or put it in the chat and we'll communicate with you offline. And we would love to have you. Otherwise, we may have to hear from me again. So, but that's Saturday. But in addition to that, when you start your group, and Michelle is going to go over this with you in the breakout, but we give you access to resources. And thank you, Sherry, for your suggestion about the marketing and packaging all the books together that I've written. But the books, whether it's a journal, the books, whether it is the workbook or the manual, it gives you examples of what your first agenda should look like, your second meeting agenda, your third meeting agenda, your fourth meeting agenda. And whether it's 2 of you or 10 or 20 of you, we give you some ideas of what you can do to start. Now, of course, when you start your group, you can tweak whatever you want to do, but 2 or 3 things we make sure we want to encourage you to continue, and that is stay inside of the Think and Grow Rich principles. Now, for me, I've been in the principles since 1979, and I've been in groups where the group leader decided, I'm tired of reading that book. I don't want to read it anymore. We're going to do something different. And I can tell you that group is no longer around. You can definitely read other books. My very first mastermind group, we continue to read Think and Grow Rich, but every category, we read something different. In the spiritual, we read something spiritual. It didn't have to be the same, it could be whatever. And like I like to say, if you're an atheist, because it's not about any kind of religion, if you're an atheist, be the best atheist. If you're Jewish, or if you're Christian, whatever it is, be the very best in your relationship with the highest source or whoever you worship or not. It's not about that. It's about setting goals. And your family life. Do you have a family mission statement? What are your goals there? Your financial, and like Carla mentioned, all of the different categories. And this is how we mastermind the life. Sure, there are mastermind groups for the business. And if you're interested in that, I can coach you in that. You can go to my website. I'm hosting a Niche to Be Rich event in November. That is strictly for the business, right? But we're talking about your life, masterminding your life. Masterminding your life, every single area of your life, all right? And having accountability for that. So I do see a hand raised. Byron, you have a hand raised, and then we're going to move you and Stephen over to the breakout. Michelle is going to take you to the breakout to get you set up. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you said raise your hand if I was interested in
Okay, thank you,
in the
Michelle.
process. So yeah, that's
Thank
what I
you for
wanted to
raising your
do.
hand. Stephen, Michelle, anybody else is interested in moving over, Michelle, you can go ahead and please move them to the breakout. And if we don't have any other questions, we're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap this portion up.
There's
And
one thing I want to mention, Ann.
yes, go ahead, please.
You mentioned it earlier, but I want to emphasize the importance of starting with one person.
Yes.
And it could be that person that might be that you're kind of masterminding with already, but you don't have a structure. This gives you a structure, it gives you tools, and I just think it's invaluable. But when people hear group, they think big first. But I think that one of the principles in Think and Grow Rich is a decision. Make the decision that this is what you want, right? And then what Ann talked about is finding someone of like-minded and like spirit, right? Not one or the other, it's both, right? And sometimes that might take some time, right? But if you make the decision, I believe the universe, who I call God, will bring that to you, but you got to make the decision first and go for one person, just so you're not building a plane and flying it at the same time. I'm a witness to that, right? So start with one person.
Carla, thank you so very much for that confirmation. Everything starts with the decision. And it also starts with the desire. And oftentimes we don't make a decision if we don't have a desire. And if a person is not having a desire, please do not attempt to mastermind with them because they don't want anything. So what are you going to hold them accountable for? Now, we are going to ask those of you that raise your hand, there is a breakout link that is asking you to please accept so we can move you. We can't move you by ourselves without you accepting the link. So Byron, if you would look, you have a link there. Stephen, you have a link there. Everybody check the chat. You have instructions there. Yes. Okay. Michelle, Kat, okay, Stephen, do you see the link to move to the breakout, Stephen?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, neither do I. I don't see it.
It should pop up on your screen. Miriam and Katrina just moved over.
Okay, while they are doing that, we're going to go ahead and thank everyone that's joined us on YouTube. And we are going to, Kat, if you have these JPEG for the annual or the niche to be rich, if you could pull that up while they're preparing to move over, and then we will prepare to wrap up. If not, we're going to just wish everybody an awesome day, no matter where you are in the world. Enjoy it, because you don't know, it might be the last day. And that's no joke. We also want to encourage you, if you have any questions, please go to internationalmasterminders.com. You can connect with us there. Again, my name is Ann McNeill. And if you have any questions for me, you can text the number 59925. That number again is 59925, and just put the word Ann in the chat, and someone from our team will follow up with you and help answer any questions that you have. And so until next time, you can also connect with me on LinkedIn, so make sure you say that. And please remember to comment, like, share the podcast, and remember to click the notification bell on YouTube and subscribe. All right. Some instructions there. All right. So